And welcome to our wrestling talk. Here we have a lot of wrestling, a little bit of MMA to talk about. And we're going to start with our favorite, WWE Raw. A lot was happening. Let me just first start off saying that, Sin City, when you look at me like that, you make me sound like I'm...
What fucking show are you watching?
Let me be honest with you. I actually, this time, I enjoyed Raw. I haven't been enjoying Raw, but I enjoyed it. And I even have a list of, they can't see it, but a list of just notes on top of notes that I wrote down. But I won't even go through it all. I know, because I'm sure King may get the majority of it in there if he enjoyed it himself. Let's talk.
It's a WWE product. Of course, he enjoyed it.
All right. Okay. Well, let me throw this out there, and then we'll go from there. The show started, of course, with Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre, and hey, we got back Heath Slater.
Oh, baby.
Little Jack too. He seemed a little bit bigger in the shoulders.
Yeah.
he clearly got on the Jinder Mahal wellness method.
There he did. That he did.
That's true. I was always been a fan of Heath. When he came out with the I Got Kids shirt, I jumped on it. 3-man band. That's kind of what reminds me of Cameron Grimes. That when he, Cameron Grimes, it kind of reminds me of.
Wow, that was pretty damn good.
It just kind of reminds me, when Slater would come out and, start, about to get into his rock performance. So I was a little disappointed hearing he wasn't, was let go apart, but it was great to see him again. And I don't know. I mean, I thought that was a pretty good segment, though. Him and Drew definitely have a really good connection with that. Let me start with you, King Lucky. What was your take on seeing Slater back in that entire segment and what we might see from going forward?
I thought it was great. I actually like him too. And, when I watched interviews that he's done outside of the WWE in this time since he's been gone, he just talked about like refocusing and doing things differently and stuff like that. And I think he has a hunger from now being on the outside looking in. So I hope, that they find a way to do right by somebody that's been with them for a long time. That is incredibly entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was happy to see him there.
All right. Any other takeaways from Raw that you guys maybe want to mention? I'm not going to go down my list, but I know Sin City doesn't have nothing on his list. So what you
Come on now.
He watched the show.
He watches it.
Go ahead.
Yes.
It was rumored that WWE, she was getting ready to leave, and then WWE offered her a contract to stay. And so if it is true, I'm happy that she got through Botchamania with Nia Jax.
I'm glad that she's still among the realm of the living after her feud with Nia Jax.
Right.
Her brush with death.
Yeah.
That wasn't a feud. That was a mugging.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But also elsewhere, I mean.
Wait, and by the way, wasn't that pretty creative how she can play her theme with a flute?
Dude,
she is on point. She is on point.
I might go back and watch that again because I was entertained.
Yeah.
And it's like she improved too.
Yeah. I also thought Garza, Orton, and Andrade made for a nice group. If they continue to roll past this week, could be a one-off. But I thought it made for a pretty interesting storyline, especially if they're not going with Garza versus Andrade, which is the inevitable at some point.
Yeah. I really liked the main event. I was definitely a fan of, seeing Asuka, who always delivers. Asuka's great. And she was going against the final boss of the Karens, Bayley. And I think that Bayley, since her heel turn, we've talked about it numerous times, is just on another level. So she's just risen up so much, and it's about time that people are finally starting to take notice, which is great.
Would you say now equal parts in this 4 horsewomen? Because for so long, you had the other girls that were leaps and bounds, and even Becky came along after Sasha and Charlotte. So now Bayley has taken her place, her rightful place now among that group and standing on her own.
I agree. And the thing that I think that really worked against her was her previous gimmick. No one took her seriously as a result of that gimmick. And it legitimately took the heel turn and Bayley growing up and settling into this new storyline and this new gimmick that she's got. And she's really made it her own. And to see where she was, a couple of years ago to now is remarkable. So we always talk about WWE not building characters. This is an instance where this character has been built and is a testament to when WWE wants to get somebody over, they can do it. And I think that is just another point of frustration for me, that I see how well this turn worked for Bayley. And now I'm wondering why they can't do this on a larger scale with more of their talent. I'm not saying turn everybody or anything of that nature. Just build the talent that you have.
Well, I'm happy you said that, Steve, because there's one thing that I've thought about for a long time, because I love women's wrestling. But the one thing that I've always thought is that has kind of hit or miss sometimes, all depending on what promotion you watch, is the nature of how females can be. When pushed, they can be vicious. And I like that's what you're seeing with Bayley in her heel turn. And you've seen it when they successfully have a heel turn. And I agree with you. Not every person should be turned heel because that's going to offset everything, right? But I'm saying, like, when you do it right, this is what it looks like. And I'm curious to see what they're going to do on SmackDown. Who's another person they're going to push for a heel other than Sasha and Bayley?
Especially
once. Let's not talk SmackDown yet, because
I didn't. I was just going to say let's talk about that later.
I got your answer. I got your answer on that.
Okay, cool. I like it.
So stay tuned.
Well, okay. How about the unveil the new United States Championship? Looked pretty, right? It was
really nice,
sexy,
really nice. It looked a little small though, but it looked nice.
I will tell you, I'm a big fan of the of MVP now. I've been for a while. He's a part of the Hurt Business, but he did tell Cedric that he's a part of the catering business, and I thought that was hilarious. So yes, absolutely. What do you guys take, just to talk a little bit? I mean, they do have a pay-per-view coming up this weekend. An eye for an eye match was was mentioned during Raw. We cannot let that not go by. What do you think about this? I mean, how is an eye for an eye supposed to be pulled off? And I did read, now it's supposed to be cinematic, but I mean, I'm like, oh Lord. I mean,
I'm telling you right now, unless they bring in Eli Roth to do some background horror cinematics, it better be fucking Seth Rollins, because between the two, he would look the coolest with a fucking eye patch.
Yeah.
I would love to see Rollins.
He would be the second coming of Snake Plissken.
Oh my gosh, dude, he would be like fucking Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
I would be amazed if he could pull that shit off.
But aren't we missing the point of this whole thing?
An eye for an
that
eye.
The WWE is putting an eye patch on Seth Rollins just to poke the bear with the angle that AEW did with Moxley and eye patch.
Yep.
I know that's the truth.
I was gonna mention that I liked the eye for an eye match the first time that it was done, when it was done with Moxley versus Santana, because it literally was called an eye for an eye match. Just saying.
Yeah, it is true.
You're welcome, Michaels.
Okay. Well, I mean, unless that's it, that's the Raw talk. Anything else that stood out for you guys? Are you
Get
guys
Tom
looking
Savini
for?
out there. Get Tom Savini to create the prosthetic for the eyeball, because supposedly
Savini would be perfect for
it's
that.
been said that the match will legitimately end with someone having their eye popped out.
Oh,
and you can do no wrong with Savini. He's been in the industry, obviously close ties with Romero. I mean, the dude's a legend.
Well, he was also the one that created the Fiend mask.
Oh man, I was just gonna call him on that.
Well, I didn't
go for it.
I mean, I'm just saying that at the end of the day, I'd hope that they go in that direction, because at the end of the day, what they need to do with these segments they're going to plan is some legitimacy. Don't just pull it out your ass and say it's a horror show. I mean, I'm sure people, obviously, if you pay them a decent amount of money and give some time, they're bored. They want to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you're still missing the point that Savini already has a relationship with him. So
I didn't say that he didn't. I didn't say that he didn't. I'm just saying in the sense of, Steve mentioned the name. It makes sense to go that direction. Why not?
Because he's worked with him before, and most likely he's probably already done the prosthetic eye.
Exactly.
You want to host?
Yeah.
Host?
The what? Do I want to what?
No, he's talking to me.
Oh,
Ultimately, is that going to put Seth off of TV for a little bit?
To be a father, it's too early yet. She's only what? How many months in her pregnancy?
Yeah, but also too, I mean, you look at it. They just recently had an outbreak of COVID cases, so it might be time for him to come off of the road.
I hear that, but why would you do that when his wife is potentially going to give birth? Obviously, I don't know how many months she's in, but wouldn't you wait to take time off if you don't have COVID at all and you're not part of that scare? I'm just saying.
Yeah, but
wouldn't you want to wait?
But what Lucky's saying is that every time he takes a flight and he goes to Florida, you're risking the virus coming back and infecting your wife, who is pregnant.
Right.
Could fuck up the pregnancy.
It is true, but I mean, I'm going to point out some names right now. I mean, look at Brie Bella. I mean, her, Daniel Bryan, and their child went sightseeing and went on a little vacation. They had their mask on, so
that's not a newborn.
She's pregnant. I'm just saying she's pregnant. So I'm saying, doesn't that kind of match up? I mean, like, it's still a coin toss. You don't know.
Yeah, but they have a control over that environment. You don't have a control.
I see your point.
Yeah,
I see your point.
That's the only difference in that scenario. That's it.
Well, that's gonna suck, because I wouldn't. Honestly, I never thought I'd say this. I don't want to see Seth off of TV. I need my Monday Night Messiah. I need him.
Is there anything
Hold on. I need my Monday Night Messiah. There you go.
Okay.
You got to put your hands together when you talk about the Messiah. I'm just saying.
Is there anything else you guys are looking forward to at Extreme Rules outside of the Eye for an Eye? Any other match you're excited for?
I don't want to jump the pony, so let's just keep going with the show.
That means he's going to talk about it during SmackDown.
Right, exactly.
Hey, I see.
Yeah, okay. That's all right. Our host is taking a break tonight.
I got you. Let's jump over now to Impact Wrestling.
That's your segment. That's your segment, dude.
Which you can also skip too, because the show sucked this week.
It did not suck. It did not suck.
Let me tell you.
Tell us how you really feel.
Let me tell you something. I thought they were putting on quality TV until they reached this week, which was like, I don't know. They mailed it in like SmackDown got mailed in this week. I did not like the show this week, and I had been entertained leading up to this. So the fact that they have a pay-per-view coming up this week, I don't know. But I'll let you continue.
But why did it suck though? I watched it too, surprisingly.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't think it was top notch, but I didn't think it sucked. But then again, also too, I don't watch it every week. So I mean
if you watched it leading up, like I've watched it the last maybe 4 or 5 months, and I thought they had some entertaining stuff. But leading up to like this one, I thought it was a throwaway show.
Well, I was cool with seeing Susie.
Oh yeah, well,
I was very pleased with seeing Susie, seeing Rosemary.
Whoa! You gotta slow down. DJ, tell us about your Susie.
Cue up that Instagram filter with the love hearts and all that kind of crazy shit.
Yeah, I am a fan of Susie for sure. I will say though, I will agree a little bit with King Lucky with this week's show. I would say the second half of the show was a little bit better than the first, but overall, it wasn't like the other past shows. I did think the Jordan Grace versus Kimberly match was actually done very well. Yeah. They are just they're just great at what they do, and I'm actually looking forward to the match at Slammiversary with Jordan Grace and Deonna Purrazzo. So yeah, I'm excited for that. I think it's going to be a really good match. But one thing I thought that was pretty funny, and I don't know if it's probably better to see it than to talk about it, but apparently Johnny Swinger wanted to he wanted to be creative, and he was looking how he could dress up as someone else to try to get into a match, and he looked at the Suicide's costume and put it on. Everyone's familiar with Suicide, and when he got in there to fight Willie Mack, it was just the match was just hilarious. I mean, it was really entertaining to watch that. You got a good laugh. He actually tried to do the Spider-Man onto the ring and fell off. It was
and you can see Willie Mack just give him the eyes like.
Even Willie Mack would just have to laugh at him sometimes in the ring, because he knew he wasn't really Suicide, but it was, it was just funny just watching how they did all that together. So that was exciting. And that's another match, right? Chris Bay and Willie Mack. I will say, if I had to predict that match, I will say that Willie Mack will retain, because I do think Swinger somehow is going to mess it up for Bay. Yeah. So, but at
the same time, though, would also though make sense if Swinger actually interfered and Chris won the belt, and now Swinger thinks that he is also champion.
Right.
Because that goes right along again with his character, is he thinks that he's, we won this belt together.
Right. I can just hear him now. I can hear him now say, "We're champions, Daddy. We're champions."
And he should get a title match at some point too. So yeah, I can see where you're going. But I'm looking forward to the card. They're teasing some big surprises maybe, and we kind of talked about it with the Gallows and Anderson possibly joining. But I am looking forward to the card. It's going to be an action-packed weekend next weekend with them going on Saturday.
There was also a little quick segment that Madison Rayne had an interview with Madison Rayne.
No, it wasn't. Remember, we talked about this. Kathy Lee Gifford had an interview segment with Madison Rayne.
And part of the reason is she was saying that she's going to not be at the commentary desk because she's going to be a part of the number one contenders knockouts gauntlet match. So she's entering herself back into that match as well. One of the last parts of the show I was entertained by was the Tommy Dreamer. He had to give an apology for how he came hard. I told you last week, Tommy Dreamer went hard on Moose, and he really just called him out. And nobody comes to see you like no one came to see you in the NFL. You're horrible. I mean, he just said all types of and so of course Moose last week said, hey, all that stuff he said, is defamation. You can get sued. I'll sue you in the company. So Tommy had to come out this week and give an apology that was written from his lawyer. And of course it was half-assed, but that was very entertaining as well. But that was the show. And
hold on, you forgot the best part.
Go ahead, sir.
Tommy Dreamer actually has a lot of pull with TNA executives.
That's
that, basically told him that, what, man, he is going to face Moose for the TNA Heavyweight Championship. I mean, he had TNA shareholders, I think he said, TNA corporate office.
Right.
I thought that was a big move, being able to pull that out the ether. I think it was amazing.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah, the whole idea of a part of also was Tommy was saying that he reached out to all the committees of the TNA management who was going to give him a title match, and then of course Moose finally says, "Wait, there's no TNA management. There is no TNA board or nothing."
With a straight face,
right? And of course, Tommy's like, "Yeah, that's the point." So yeah, good stuff though. Again, I'm looking for that because they will have their championship match for that. A pretty good card, like King Lucky was saying, and that happens also this week. And don't forget, you have Ace Austin versus Trey versus Eddie Edwards, and a mystery opponent for the Impact World Championship match. So, man, it's going to be very, very, very interesting. Yeah,
you can hold those up all you want. It's going to be Ace Austin that goes over. Gambit is going to win.
And it's not going to be Rusev, Lucky.
No, it's not going to be him.
He's putting up the 3 because he wants us to know the 1%.
Right. TC3. Yeah, but it's actually a really, really good card.
Yeah.
So I mean, you got quite a few things happening this weekend. You got UFC. You got Impact Wrestling on Saturday. Both of those are on Saturday, and then Extreme Rules, the horror show, on Sunday. So,
yeah. All right, let's jump over into WWE's NXT Great American Bash Night 2. And we know what the biggest highlight of that entire night. King Lucky, I'm going to let you run down what your thoughts of Night 2 was.
Yeah, they had an excellent way to start the show with Mia Yim, Candice LeRae. I thought that match was just exceptional.
Brutal. Fucking brutal.
Yeah, it was brutal. And the way they sold the match, after the match completed and they still had the ladies in the ring, I mean, that was just as Sin City Steve always says, continuity, baby.
Yeah.
It was really good. They left it all out there, right? And at some point, I mean, I understood why Candice went over. It furthers what they're doing right now, but geez, I want Mia Yim to get her shine at some point because I think she's so good.
I think she will.
Huh?
I think she will. She has a friend. Her friend came through, but I'll let y'all talk about who re-debuted.
Yeah. I thought Swerve and Gargano tore that puppy up.
Yeah.
I mean, it was nice. A hell of a match. And then obviously the biggest part of the night was Keith Lee, getting his hands on that belt, and that match. Styles make fights, the larger man versus the smaller man. Him versus Adam Cole it was awesome. And then, at the end of that, you saw Karrion Kross and Scarlett looking down as to what's to come. So I thought the show overall was very good.
But the question is, where did Scarlett go? That was a great, again, when you put in those little nuances, then it gives you a little something to look forward to. Progression for the next week. So,
and just one last note on Lee. I mean, he's doing incredible, right? And he had the push with the Rumble and things like that. I'd like to see, I'm gonna throw it out there. I'd like to see him win the Royal Rumble, either him or Riddle. Time for an NXT guy to.
Who was the first guy you mentioned?
Matt Riddle or Keith Lee.
Or Keith Lee, got you. Okay.
Yeah. We want to take the guy who just won the NXT title and have him win the Royal Rumble so he goes out of NXT.
Yeah, you still got 6 months left. So there's plenty of time left for him to drop that title.
Well, I think the bigger question.
Why would you have the guy though?
He wouldn't necessarily have to drop it.
But the bigger question is which belt, if not both belts, is he probably going to drop if he faces Karrion Kross, and when he faces Karrion Kross, and how does that play out?
You drop the North American title.
Yeah, think so. Okay,
completely.
And I have him defend that belt as well as the heavyweight championship right now.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Oh, I will tell you that I was very pleased to see the re-debut of Mercedes Martinez.
Yes.
That entrance music and the entrance is dope as fuck. I like that. I've always liked her in-ring ability. I like that kind of hard smash mouth type of prowess that she has. I think it's something that's needed at the table. Because if you look at a lot of the women just in WWE landscape, we need more strikers. Now, obviously, she's good at submissions, obviously, and wrestling, but she has been known for like vicious strikes, and I'm happy to see her in there. I think she's going to do some big things. I personally think so. And obviously, her and a couple of other wrestlers on NXT go way back. And I'm not sure. I remember we talked about it, and maybe I read it a couple of months back, but they're also going to have her in a capacity behind the scenes training some of the new people. I don't know how true that is because I don't work for WWE, but I know they were talking about bringing her in to kind of help out with that as well. Because, I mean, she's very seasoned. Very seasoned.
Yeah, but they don't utilize her right. Her and Santana Garrett. I mean, she is so underused. And what did they bring her back? To her?
Santana Garrett for sure. But we'll see.
That's funny. I will say one of the things I was entertained because I'm always looking to get a really good laugh when I can, and never fails. Robert Stone gets ran over by a tank.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah. I'm dying. Eagles ratings, bro.
And it was slow too.
And let me tell you this: what I thought, when you were to say picture in picture, there was nothing more entertaining. I always fast forward those. It's still commercials to me. But I was so entertained by that segment. I actually watched the picture in picture because they brought in everyone else to try to raise the tank off of his leg. Mm-hmm. They have to pick it up. Okay. So of course he's going through this whole thing because he's got ran over by this tank. And then of course who comes driving up was the Undisputed Era. So it was pretty dope watching him get out of the car. And I'm just really entertained by, because I never watched the picture in picture, but I like how they really did that. Great parts of NXT. It was a really good night.
I forgot this.
Yeah.
I was going to say one thing.
Sure.
One person that I think we're going to see, I don't know about big things, but we're going to see a lot more of him. And I was more impressed with him was Bronson Reed.
Yes.
With regards to Tony Nese. And obviously Tony Nese is a stud. Just at the end of the day, I'm always impressed with him. But I think we're going to see a lot with Bronson Reed. I see him as that big guy, what do they call him, Mr. Thickness or whatever the hell they call him, one of the thick boys, thick daddies. Thick boy. Yeah, he said thick boy. I see him really making some moves. And maybe not be now, but I guarantee once you see a couple of key players in NXT move up to the next roster, which is probably for sure going to happen, you're going to see him filling in those slots or those positions. Was very impressed with that match. The match was very entertaining. I know Lucky didn't watch half of it because he doesn't like Tony Nese because he's part of the 205 breed, but it was a very good match.
Actually, maybe what if they paired Tony Nese up with with Rob Stone? Maybe he becomes his client because he's been on kind of a skid. So something that a little meat there that you could probably use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I've got to say, I mean, I was happy with the 6-man match with Legado del Fantasma.
Yeah.
They continue to build those guys up, and it just goes, to show that Santos Escobar can be pushed as a very solid talent. The guy he exudes star power every second that he's on TV. So he has a huge future ahead of him, and I can't wait to see it. He obviously is bilingual, so that's going to play in. And I really do see them working to incorporate those kinds of things. And I would not be surprised if at some point he wins some serious gold in NXT and possibly even on the main roster if it goes that far.
And I'll add that to you. When that does happen, Steve, I think all of us are going to be saying Alberto Del who?
Oh yeah. Oh, completely.
Yeah, I'm throwing shots. Come holla at me from jail.
Alberto. We're gonna be going
Andrade, who
Friday.
No. Because let's be honest, okay? Andrade was created, or not created, but they brought in Andrade because they're trying to fill in this cookie cutter of Alberto Del Rio. Let's just be honest.
Yeah,
Okay?
he filled in the cookie cutter.
No, he didn't fill. He filled in something else, but it wasn't.
yeah,
the
he
cookie cutter.
filled something else up
Okay?
too.
He didn't, and it came back to the bilingual. He's not fully bilingual.
He's
And
not.
Again, that's what
his
stopped
English
him.
is not where it needs to be.
That's what I'm saying. So at the end
Yeah.
of the day, with Phantasma, I mean, like, he's bilingual. He has that.
Yes.
He has that stature, like we saw in Alberto Del Rio.
Yes.
And I think if anybody can fill that, he can, and probably surpass it.
But the point that I'm making is Andrade was supposed to be that. Andrade isn't even Garza. Garza's fucking
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you have these talented guys, and you look at Andrade and you go, you know what, he had a good run as NXT champ. He had a decent character, but I mean, he's around. What are you going to do with him? And do you start something with him and Charlotte together?
Well,
that would be, honestly,
go.
that would be one way of getting him over.
yeah.
Because as of right now, he's not.
And she could be a mouthpiece for him.
Sure.
I could actually see something along that line now that you're mentioning that, finally go the route of, breaking up Garza and Andrade, and have Andrade, essentially by proxy turn face. And
you do it like this, Steve, since you already got Orton in the angle, you have Orton turn on Flair, which then Andrade, of course, being that it's Flair.
Father-in-law.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
That could work.
And I can just see it now. Rick comes out. Ooh, Orton, see, what you didn't realize is that blood is thicker than water. He's going to say some stupid shit like that to where we're all uncomfortable, like he may actually have a stroke. No offense, Rick Flair, but I worry about you in my heart sometimes. I don't ever want to hear you pass away. It would be a sad day.
I think you said that uncomfortable. Yeah, we all got there. That was really uncomfortable. Was that Red Fox?
I don't even know who it was. I'm just saying. At the end of the day,
you're the one who said Ric Flair having a stroke, and that's pretty much what I just saw.
True enough. But NXT, and then we can move on. You know who I really wanted to really see in action, and now I'm starting to. I'm now excited. I think he might be my dude. Like, he might be the one for me, and that is Damian Priest. The only reason why I say this is because when he was with another promotion and he was, I'll just say, Punishment. I liked him a lot, and so now
he was in ROH. What do you?
Yeah,
come on, man. Come on, man. Can I not be cryptic sometimes? What's wrong with that? You're cryptic 3/4 of the time.
Hey, everybody, if you didn't know it, he was with ROH before he joined NXT.
Anyways, thank you so kindly for illuminating us, great curator of the golden era. But what I was saying is I actually was like, shit, I really wanted to see Damian Priest, like, really bad. And I just got the little promo with him and Cameron Grimes, but I liked the whole promo he had. He had sunglasses on, all cool as shit.
Wait, who did he have that promo with?
Well, he didn't have promo, but he was doing something where he's talking about Cameron Grimes. He's talking about you.
Cameron Grimes!
Oh, there you go.
Lucky's favorite.
Woo! To the moon!
If they were smart, that's a tag team.
Oh my gosh, that would be.
Oh shit,
that'd be an interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be like Team Hell No, almost.
Like, they kind of work through whatever they're going through. They have a series of matches. Yeah. And then they decide that it's better for them to be together than separate.
Sure. NXT.
Wow, just saying.
we're serving you up. It's a pity that you have to pay your writers so much Because all they do is listen to us and then collect the paycheck.
I mean, sometimes you just have to call a beaver a beaver.
That's right. If I ever hear that anywhere else other than here,
You're gonna hear it on. You're gonna hear.
That's
it.
gonna be Cameron Grimes' new fucking catchphrase.
I'm telling you right now, I want a motherfucking parade. I want a fucking parade with streamers and all that shit. Let that shit
Maybe
be known.
Most importantly, beavers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Please, right now, if you have any money for people who have money, please donate to the Beaver Conservation Foundation. They are trying to get as much money or damn money as they can to help reconstruct these beavers' homes. So please, if you have money, graciously give.
That's
Yeah.
it. It's gonna be
This
Simon Street Beaver Fund.
That just sounds all types of bad direction.
Yeah.
The Beaver Foundation.
because without you guys and the Beaver Foundation, there would be no wood to put inside those beavers.
My gosh.
Oh,
You know,
No
you know
teeth.
what? You
No
know, Matt
teeth.
Michaels, I was just about to say maybe we should at the writers so that they could maybe use some of the suggestions you gave, but never mind. Let's
what
not add
doesn't
them
have
at all.
enough it doesn't have enough characters. They've got like 100 writers.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. NXT. That just shows you how great NXT is. We talked a lot about it, but now let's get to our second favorite, right? Third favorite, fourth favorite. I don't know. AEW Fyter
If it's
Fest
DJ
night.
Impact, it's his least favorite.
Stop it! Stop it!
Mhm.
Fyter Fest night 2. Okay,
Spider Fest or Fighter Fest?
Spider
Now-
Fest.
Sin City.
That's
Let me be-
decent.
Let me be honest with you. I enjoyed night 2.
Whoa.
Night 2 was good.
Alert the
I really-
media.
Hashtag it right now in the chat.
Yeah,
No,
I really
no, seriously. Go tell us what you enjoyed, bro.
Okay. I put down Cassidy from Private Party. I love. What's so funny about that? Okay. Anyway, I like how he uses the top rope and to jump over to the second rope and launched himself into Hangman Page. After that move was pretty awesome.
That was amazing.
So I love that. Couple of things also I put Lance Archer kills Janela. Pretty much that's what happened.
That's about right. I mean, that's what happened.
I also mentioned how, and I guess we could talk about this in a minute too. Brian Cage, right? He's presented with the FTW Championship
Right.
belt.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's
The fuck
he's
the
a
World
champ.
Championship belt.
World Championship. Which I'll tell you is
Go ahead.
it's a great thing for him to introduce this, because even if you don't put Cage over at the pay-per-view, he still has a title. And so what you can do is you can still have Cage look like money and let him shine without him getting the belt, unlike they did with Brody and Archer on that first pay-per-view. So I think it's a good idea that what they did with that.
Are you thinking that they're going to use that belt as, I guess they're going to. The reality, we talked about it. He should lose. He should win against Moxley.
Yes.
That's the way it should be set up.
Yeah.
But if for some reason he doesn't, he now has the FTW belt to fall on. I think that's what that is.
This is AEW hedging their bets, essentially.
Oh man. Okay.
I'm cool with
Okay.
it. I'll co-sign it. I was cool with it. Once again, Taz is good at what he does.
Oh God,
And
he's amazing.
I mean, like, seriously, it's going to be interesting to see what happens next week, because him and Moxley, if I'm not mistaken, they're going to have their championship match. Did I hit that correctly? Right? I just want to make sure. Right? Okay, I'll make
Right
sure.
for the follow.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
But
Which,
fast.
speaking of which, I can't wait for NXT's counter programming next week. Battle for the Bedridden.
It's gonna happen, bro.
they're going to pull some kind of new exclusive WWE.
I'm telling you,
network
they'll announce it
pay-per-view
on
out of
social
nowhere.
media.
Yeah. Yeah.
Battle for the bedridden. Wait and see.
I think the bigger question is if they'll win the ratings again this week.
It definitely was a lot closer than the week prior, for sure. Obviously the FTW championship was something that, is huge for me. I was a huge Tazmark when he was in ECW. And I remember firsthand when he came out or brought out the Fuck the World Championship belt for the first time. It was during, obviously, his feud with Shane Douglas. And so obviously that hit me right in the feels. And I thought that was, insanely smart for them to do something of that nature, because as was mentioned, at this point, it's almost like as if Cage needs to have some sort of a token or a trinket or something to legitimize him because of how hard they've pushed him. And as was mentioned just a minute ago, Archer and Brody Lee come in, challenge for the championship and get defeated. And now they're struggling in the mid card, which actually does somewhat lead me to a little bit of something that I really enjoyed in this show, which was the furthering of the Dark Order storyline with Colt Cabana. I do also, I love the fact that they have basically absorbed Colt Cabana into the Dark Order at this point. And he is, he's been coerced. That's probably the best way to describe it.
He's being groomed.
What's that?
He's being groomed.
Yeah, he is being groomed completely. And the thing is, they're doing what they needed to do. Colt Cabana had a massive losing streak until he got mixed up with the Dark Order, and now he's on the winning side most of the time. And they've got quite a good winning streak going. And also they're capitalizing on the whole cult thing by releasing the new T-shirt. And this is legit. I'm not bullshitting this, but AEW has released a T-shirt for Colt Cabana that now at first glance it actually says "Boom Boom Colt Cabana" on it, but just from a first glance, the fonts that they used and the effects that they used, it actually looks like it says "Doom Doom Colt Cabana." So you've got the subliminal hints in there of what's going on. And in the center of the logo definitely looks like some sort of an Illuminati type of a symbol or a cult type of a symbol. So I mean, they're doing more and more nuanced things, and that's key. And I think it's pretty safe to say Orange Cassidy rose to the occasion against Chris Jericho. Sure, even though we didn't see a run-in by Mike Tyson, which, for whatever reason, I think that a lot of people were kind of, I don't want to say dreading this match, but they were thinking that it was going to be a completely one-sided match, and this was not a one-sided match. I feel that, Cassidy definitely rose to the occasion on this one. And I think it's going to be great, man. I think that we are starting to see, Orange Cassidy finally taking his place where he needs to be. He needs to be spotlighted. The guy's been a ratings draw up until his feud with Jericho every week, and he needs to be featured. So
might I also add with that, and then I'll say what my favorite part of the AEW lineup was. And I had a conversation with Impact yesterday, and I was talking about the difference between WWE's inability to let stars organically manifest versus how AEW is kind of doing. This is a perfect example, because when you look at Orange Cassidy, I like the wordplay you just used, Steve. You said shine a spotlight. Shining a spotlight is not shoving a nice full helping of Roman Reigns on a spoon down people's throat and expecting you to say he's the best. He's now at the top. And nothing away from Roman Reigns. He's good. I'm not saying he can't wrestle, but I'm saying AEW is showing a better way. You have someone that's hot, shine a light on them. You don't have to add too much to someone that's already white hot. And I think we're starting to see that.
Orange Cassidy is also not selling action figures right now.
Well, right now. And it's funny you said that, because in our conversation that me and Impact had, we talked about the reason why shit like that works with, I said, Roman Reigns, is because of a John Cena. Because at the end of the day, your merch sales are going to talk about how great your opportunity is.
John Cena.
Don't even fucking go there. Because if I say Roman Reigns and you don't immediately think of John Cena as the same formula of...
No. I'm going... No, I'm Hulk Hogan.
Okay, you're right. Yeah. Hulk Hogan, John Cena, Roman Reigns.
No. And
let's go further than Hulk Hogan.
And The Rock. It's the whole from Hogan on.
Yeah.
This is the system that Vince formulated.
Yep.
Why the fuck did the Ultimate Warrior have a title? Because he was over like shit. You're saying AEW, does this better. No one does it better than Vince. But what they're doing is basically allowing the talent to finally start wrestling and establishing themselves against the top talent. Because what we were seeing is a lot of blockage. Moxley comes in, then Harper comes in, then, just more people coming in and everything all cloudy on top. Now you're finally getting to see some of these guys. One problem that might happen is guys like Lucky might think a guy like Orange Cassidy is not worth doing this because he can't talk.
Yeah, but that's okay because
he can't talk or he doesn't talk.
I'm a huge fan of by the way. So
I'm going to say, for the whole argument of Hardy and Sheamus can't talk and do the things. The fact of the matter is here's a guy who can get over without talking at all.
Exactly.
And there's some that can. You're absolutely right. There are some that can. And unfortunately, there are some that their body language is about as dead as their speech enunciation on a microphone. And that's a very problematic challenge that people are going to have to figure out.
Leave Tony Schiavone out of this.
This is very true, too. No, but the one part of the night that I found exciting, and I'm glad that they said it was the first time ever meeting between FTR and the Lucha Bros. I was excited to see that in general. I'm glad that there's going to be a follow-up match next week, just those two. But that, including Butcher and the Blade and the Young Bucks, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen a four-way tag team match done well. And maybe it's just my opinion in the colored shade glasses I have, but I was entertained from start to finish. Each of them showcased their moves. I liked how even toward the end where you had FTR were kind of like gelling, like they were trying to gel just between them two, and it ended up having the Young Bucks completing their moves. I thought that was cool. And it was fun to watch. So much that I would probably watch it again tomorrow while I'm working.
I love that match, but if I'm FTR, I would have fucking beat the shit out of those guys for driving in with my truck. So right there where they were coming in, that's where you attack them and get that match started.
Hold on real quick. No. Don't even spend the energy. Don't even spend the energy. But I will spend the energy on what Shant said in the chat. He said, Ray Phoenix with that Canadian Destroyer, holy shit. And I was going to say that. That shit was some fucking like video game magic shit. That was magic. And also too, I think it was who did I think it was somebody else that did a high, was it one of the Bucks that did a high Karana? High Karana off the top, but he flung himself so much into the ropes.
A Hurricane Rana.
Well, yeah. Well, I know, but
high
Karana.
High Corona. Of course.
Shut the fuck up. Anyways, I thought that was cool too. But that Canadian Destroyer was fucking amazing. I had to rewind that shit because I ain't never seen no shit like that. Even to the point where I was like, how did that fucking shit work?
Yeah.
That was the highlight of the night for me. I was tickled pink for that.
So let me ask you guys this really quick. Who's going to be Nyla Rose's new manager?
Vicky Guerrero.
Britt Baker.
Bingo. Britt Baker. Okay.
I just thought that'd be cool if it'd be Britt Baker.
I agree with King Lucky. I could see them using
that'd be awesome.
Vicky.
As long as it's not Brandy.
Oh, God.
Oh man.
Nightmare Collective 2.0.
Jeez.
Speaking of though, she needs to like conjure up Kong again because they need like people who are physically intimidating to go against her.
Yeah.
Nyla Rose.
Kong is filming glow. So that's the reason.
She's filming right now.
Well, I will say this. I like that they're building up Nyla Rose to be this indestructible force. Even when she was, talking on the mic, she's talking about basically once she gets her manager, she's coming back and she will leave AEW Women's Champion again. I like that. How she's basically calling her shot right now. Again, going back to what we talked about last week, if Tessa ever want to go to a place, I think AEW would be a better fit. Just saying that's why I want her to go to. Not because of Daddy there. I'm just saying, it's a way better fit. I love to see Nyla Rose and Tessa Blanchard.
SmackDown.
Do we even need to talk about SmackDown?
Nope, it was the worst.
What down?
Listen,
I will say this. Going back,
there's only one good match.
I will say this. I found out what FTR stands for because we don't really know, right? All right. What did it stand for? Is
Fuck
it
the Revival?
yeah, that's the original meaning.
Oh.
The original one was
Fuck the rest.
Revival.
From being the Elite. I know you don't watch it, but they've been calling them out for a long time.
So it's called Fuck the Revival.
Originally it was. But what did you find?
Oh.
What did you find, Professor Impact?
And then what is it called now?
Fuck the rest.
Fear the Revolution.
Yeah.
Fear the Revolution.
I thought it was still fuck the rest. I thought that'd have been better.
Yeah, they couldn't necessarily market that, but I agree.
Yeah.
And I thought I thought it was called formerly the Revival.
No.
That's what I was going to give it.
That's a good one. I really don't like Fear the Revolution. That's
yeah.
They could have done better.
Okay.
There's only so much you could do with, those letters.
Yeah, exactly.
I still think fuck the rest should be the way and just have F and then two symbols and a K and they figure it out. Come on, if you have freaking what? The what?
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 Yeah, he's basically saying like F and then the two.
Yeah, I'm just saying they could have done that.
Yeah.
I mean, you have MJF flipping off little kids. I mean, they've already gone as far as they possibly could go.
Exactly.
So let's jump over to SmackDown and
that's all for our show. You guys have a good day. I'll catch y'all later.
SmackDown was the worst show of the Fox era and the worst show of the year.
Yeah.
SmackDown.
And then the show started.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was cringe.
I just feel like they just picked up a bunch of pieces off the cutting room floor and threw them together.
Well,
karaoke.
My question is this, though. Now, they do pre-tape this. Now, am I correct when I'm hearing this, that they're pre-taping SmackDown? Like on a Wednesday or something like that? Am I hearing correctly?
That's almost taped, yes.
Okay. So my question is, could it possibly be the reason why we got this and they added like a whole fucking match from how many years ago, which I felt was unnecessary? Could it have been because they fucked up something? Daryl, what are you doing with your pen? It's distracting.
I don't have any idea how close when you put your fingers, you're just like...
like for real.
Yeah, man.
So anyways...
You're oblivious to it.
He totally is.
Oh, shit. Don't call him out on anything like that.
But anyways, was there something that they cut out of why they're showing us? I mean, are they trying to be Impact Wrestling? Not that Impact Wrestling has a problem when they do their flashbacks. Is that what SmackDown's doing now? Flashback shows on a regular basis?
Well, I mean, I think they still could have kept the flashback, but added more content because the flashback, added into what you're telling with the rest of the story. But I just think for whatever reason, you know what? Now that I think about it, this might have been the show because I think it was a week ago they were talking about how production got halted for testing and stuff like that.
That's what I'm saying. There had to be a reason.
This could have been the reason. So you know what? I'll cut them some slack, but it still was.
It was shit. It was shit. They know it was shit.
Yeah. So wait. First of all, the heel, I hope, is going to be Lacey.
Yes.
Because, I mean, she was heel. She was great. Then she was face.
Yeah. Boom.
For whatever fucking reason. And now is she going heel again? Because
it definitely feels like it.
Yeah, so I'd say that's your heel. But
Yeah.
Come on, man. It was a great karaoke segment. It was perfect.
You know what was missing? You know what was missing?
The gobbledygooker.
No. It was missing Las Vegas' own Ricky Tenacious. If he was in there, it would have been fire. And Ricky, if you listen, or if anybody has listened to this podcast, y'all know I'm telling the truth. That man right there is a karaoke god. He is the songstress bird. I'm just gonna put it out there.
Songstress?
Yeah, songstress. When you sing, you're a songstress. You wouldn't know nothing about that because you can't carry a tune like you can't carry a title belt, apparently.
I think I'll be okay. I think I'll be okay not being the songstress.
That's okay. You can make music in other ways.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this. Although SmackDown was not that good, I don't want to discredit the last match, New Day, Cesaro, and Shinsuke. I enjoyed that match. And when I really just wish that Cesaro really could just somehow just get the respect that he really
go somewhere that he's appreciated.
Or
God.
No. I'm going to say it right now. Go back to NXT. If Cesaro went back to NXT,
that's what I'm saying.
I'm telling you right now, he would be the top of the pecking order, and he'd be perfect for carrying Cross.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michaels, I know that you assumed that I meant AEW, but no, he needs to go somewhere that he's appreciated. Yeah. Like if that answer is to go back to NXT, then 100% go back to NXT.
Yeah,
but where he will be used properly.
But you did preference if NXT is the place for him. So you are suggesting that he goes somewhere else.
I would say NXT. It would be welcome. It'd be a welcome because everybody knows how good he is.
Right.
And
he's credible. He's credible. He came back, mind you. He shifted down to NXT for a couple of weeks, technically before anybody else did. To get Sami Zayn up and going, and that built up some legitimacy there. So I mean, he's got a past track record of going to NXT. So I'm 100% on board, man.
Again, NXT, if you're watching, I mean, we're just giving this shit away for free.
This shit's for free.
We want to help your job security. That's all.
I just want to watch good programming.
That too. Is that so wrong?
That's it.
All right. So with that, I know we were saying that, let's wait till SmackDown to talk about the pay-per-view. So now let's talk about what your guys' thoughts are on the upcoming Extreme Rules.
Called the cinematic match, the swamp match.
I'm excited for that reason and for all the wrong reasons. I'm excited that a lot of these matches, because I think it's going to tie in a lot with the WWE Brawler game that's coming out, because a lot of, the way that game's set up, it's very themed, and there is a swamp theme level, a ring setup, however you want to put it. And there's also a horror ring setup. So, I think that you can probably see tons of fucking commercials for WWE Brawler on that show. But I'm excited to see it go way back in history. I like when, the way they've been building up to, Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman. I hope they do it justice. I hope it's good like The Undertaker and AJ Styles, and not like the House of Horrors that was Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. I think was it the House of Horrors? What was it called? Yeah, House of Horrors match. Yeah. I hope it's the Boneyard Brawl version
where someone got a refrigerator thrown on them.
Yeah,
the match was ahead of his time.
Right. It was, but they did not have as many of the direction as they do now. So I'm excited to see the history with Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt. I think they've done a fantastic job of slowly unveiling that, slowly bit by bit, like I like it. And we'll see what happens. Hopefully we'll come 360 with this storyline.
Okay.
The Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre match should make Drew look like money.
Yes.
They're going to put together if you look at it, whoever Dolph Ziggler goes up against, he's the perfect dance partner. So I think it'll even further, because a lot of people are down on Drew right now, but it'll further his stock with this match.
So when Morrison and Miz run in to interfere, is that when Heath Slater runs in to counter?
Could be, but we've seen that type of setup before in WWE history about 4 or 5 times.
4 or 5 times.
Yeah, somebody who per storyline couldn't cut it, and they come in.
You're lowballing it. 4 or 5 times. Try about 400 or 500 times.
Well, again, I didn't go as far back as the Golden Era. I went back as far as the Attitude Era. So
this card really has some good matches on it. You got Sasha, and that match is going to be really good too. Sasha Banks versus Asuka, Bayley versus Nikki Cross, Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles.
I'm excited for that.
It's a really solid card.
That match is going to be the best one on the show.
Which one?
Which one?
Daniel Bryan and AJ.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
MVP versus Apollo, which we all know what should happen there.
What should happen?
What
should happen?
MVP.
Yeah.
That's basically what's going to happen.
That furthers the storyline. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But let's be honest.
I think Cruz will end up winning by like DQ to keep the storyline going.
Because of Lashley, you think? Or something like that?
Yeah.
Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen.
The Dairy Queen finish.
Let me get that peanut buster parfait.
Hello.
All right. Well, let's jump over to a promotion we haven't talked about in a while.
Not nearly
New
enough.
Japan Pro Wrestling. I know, man. What's been going on? So they've been having the New Japan Cup going on for, like I say, for a while now. And, man, they had their event. And when I read, I was like, I got to get some information on who this guy is, Evil.
Yeah.
Okay? I got to figure out. And I even watched the clip of just kind of how it all, the match and all the way to when he went back to his own press conference. But apparently Evil is the new leader of the Bullet Club, and he has both the IWPG and the and the Intercontinental title.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Sin City, please explain to me.
Sure.
This guy seems like he is about business.
So here's a long story short. Is you had Evil win and finally break out and win the New Japan Cup championship tournament. He defeated Kazuchika Okada in the finals of that tournament. So for someone with the past track record of Evil to knock off Okada in the finals, who Okada has been referred to by some as the greatest wrestler of our generation. So New Japan, put enough stock into Evil to have him go over Okada in the finals and win the New Japan Cup tournament. Now, what happens when someone wins the New Japan Cup tournament is the next event, which takes place the very next day, they always have an IWGP Heavyweight Championship match. And it just so happens that Evil was a stablemate with Tetsuya Naito, who was the leader of LIJ, and who also happened to be holding both the IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental Championship title belts. So the decision was made back at Wrestle Kingdom to put both of those championship belts onto Naito. Now, Naito has had a really interesting kind of a track record in his career in that he almost had the Roman Reigns syndrome, where he was pushed up to the top very, very quickly. Fans rejected him very, very badly. And he went onto an excursion, something that New Japan is known for doing. They will send their competitors to a different country. And we saw it in Impact, actually, where Shinsuke Nakamura and Kazuchika Okada went to Impact, and they both wrestled as part of the Impact roster. And they got some seasoning and all that kind of stuff. And then they came back to New Japan with revised gimmicks, and they basically got shot up to the moon after they came back. Yeah. So Naito came back, and his excursion just so happened to be in Mexico at AAA. And so, I mean, he wrestled there, did his thing, and he founded Los Ingobernables de Japón, LIJ, in New Japan. One of the guys that was in that stable with Naito was Evil. Now, Evil is a homegrown talent that New Japan has been actually grooming as being a blue chip kind of a talent since 2017. So they've been grooming him and kind of building him up slowly but surely to take over the top spot for about 3 years now. Okay. But it's something to where it finally took Evil turning on Naito the night before the championship match. So after the same night as he won the New Japan Cup tournament, he turns on his buddy, his now former stablemate, Naito. Yeah. And that went down. So the stage was set for Evil to get the monster push on it'd be the 11th of July. So he ended up leaving LIJ and joining up with the Bullet Club. Now, the reason why that happened is because COVID-19 has forced the hand of a lot of wrestling promotions. This is another instance where the person who was installed as the leader of the Bullet Club was Jay White. Jay White is currently exiled from Japan because of travel restrictions. So they had to pull the trigger, and all signs pointed to making the shift, bringing Evil into the Bullet Club, which Bullet Club has from the beginning, they've essentially been a parody of American wrestling stables. Okay. They were patterned after stables such as the NWO, and, DX to some extent. But mainly they were patterned after the NWO. Uh-huh. So what you saw in the championship match between Evil and Naito is you saw run-ins after run-ins after run-ins. Yeah. And it was one of those things where eventually, by the time that it was all said and done, you saw a guy come out in a mask wearing LIJ gear to what everybody thought would be to save and back up Naito. And guy, instead turns, attacks Naito, lays him out. He takes off his mask, and
he took off his mask in public.
Yeah. Yes. So
it's like he was waiting for that.
Yeah, I know, right? Strange how that works. So he takes off the mask, and underneath of the mask is Japanese wrestler Dick Togo, who's actually been around for 30 years. Yes, Dick Togo. If you're just reading it, his name looks like Dick Togo. So
is that offered with Uber Eats or
I guess it is Uber Eats, man. You get your side of Dick Togo. But no, the American audiences might remember that Dick Togo was actually a part of the ECW Barely Legal show. He was a part of a 6-man tag match that night. But outside of that, yes.
Come on, hit his highlight of his career.
Indeed. He was a member of Kai and Tai in WWE as well. I was getting there. Calm yourself down. So Choppy your pee-pee. Yes, he was involved in that storyline, if you remember that. Dick Togo, people are saying that Dick Togo will be Evil's manager, as has been the case, where they bring in a veteran wrestler to mentor or to be a mouthpiece for their top blue chip talents in New Japan. So I mean, this is very formulaic. It's something that they've been doing for quite some time. I'll be honest, when I initially saw that Evil was getting this push, I was surprised, to say the very least.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only upon like going back and doing a little bit of research, seeing the constant build that they've done for this guy, that, you know, at the end of the day, it all makes sense. Signs point to it being, you know, there being some continuity there. Fun fact, by the way, is Evil is engaged to NXT Women's Champion Io Shirai. So,
okay.
yeah. So
now hold on, time out, because Impact's very upset by that.
I know. I just had to break his heart, man. I'm sorry.
He for sure don't like him now. He for sure don't like him now.
Yeah,
he's definitely evil.
I was going to say, it's about time Evil is actually evil. Because prior to this, Evil was in LIJ, which was a kind of a rebel, kind of a anti-hero type of a stable. So now he's actually evil. So it makes sense.
Yeah, but if he looks in the mirror, he's live.
Very true. As are we right now.
Let me ask you one more question regarding New Japan. This was just someone I was doing my back to work now, doing my jobs, and the guy was telling me, New Japan Pro, I'm finding that I am not as entertained as I have been before, and I think what's missing is there's not. I guess I was used to seeing some of the American wrestlers that used to be a part of this, and I'm not seeing it. And now I'm beginning to see the same old sort of Japanese wrestlers, which I've seen them for so long now battle against each other. So
there's kind of a reason for that.
We understand, but right, exactly. But do you find that to be what he's saying? That would you say that New Japan has not been as watchable as it has been, because of that being the reason?
So it's one of those things where this kind of ties into, everything just coming together the way that it has. Naito holding both of the belts, both the heavyweight championship and the Intercontinental Championship, should have been a crowning moment and a crowning achievement for him. This should have been his his welcoming to the main stage, if you will, of being a central figure in New Japan. But obviously, immediately after, COVID reared its ugly head, and we've had to adapt completely. So it's unfortunate, because Naito's title run will actually go down as just him almost being looked at as a transitional champion, and it really should never have been that way. And I guess that you could say that it's true to his overall storyline and story arc through his entire career, because he's not getting what he really deserves, if you will. The first time he was pushed to the moon, fans rejected it. They pissed all over it, gave him the Roman Reigns treatment, and immediately, next thing you know, he's gone and in a different country. And now he's given both championship belts, winning, the two championship belts at Wrestle Kingdom in January. And now because of COVID and because of everything going on, they finally pull the trigger on Evil, because they need a leader for the Bullet Club. And now it's almost like as if this title run has been squandered. But make no mistake, this has not been a hot potato kind of a championship. The IWGP Heavyweight Championship has changed hands 5 times in, I believe, the last 6 years. So by no means is it a thing where, they shift the title around on a regular basis or very frequently at all. So
no, you know what? I was going to ask Steve something. You made a very interesting point earlier when you were saying how new
$22.95. I like it.
I don't know what that is, but okay. I was looking to see what it says. Anyways, I was like, what the fuck am I looking at? Anyways, do you think how they were able to, take their talent whenever they're not welcomely received, have them go to a different country? Do you see something like that would be great if obviously the promotion probably wouldn't be a WWE thing, or maybe it could be. I don't know. Do you think that would be helpful in situations with other promotions more on the Western part of the world?
Well, it's territory wrestling 101. I mean, that was something that has been done for years in Japan, but even prior to that, it was done in the territories around in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you would have somebody that would be stale, not getting a reaction, or whatever the situation was, then they would leave. They would lose a loser leaves the promotion type of a match, or they would be written off of television. But obviously, in some cases there's not television, so they were written out of the promotion. Meanwhile, they would go elsewhere to another territory, another state, another region, and they would get more seasoning. They would be able to pick up the way that things are done in a different part of the country or in a different country. I'm in 100% agreement that should actually be taking place more frequently. I think that more people should be, shifted to NXT. I mean, we just got done talking about Cesaro. I think that could make a world of a difference if he shifted down to NXT, where he, I feel that he could, have a run. Fuck it. Throw the NXT championship on him for a couple of months and have him play up, have him be very European, have him, come out, be the snooty European dickhead, and have him have a run with the championship. That's another one that's free. You're welcome, NXT writing staff. Fuck it. Put him with fucking Imperium if you want.
That would be. I was just about to say that. You was thinking the same thing I was thinking.
Have him be the ringleader of Imperium.
Yep.
I mean, it's right there for him.
Walter.
I'm well aware of Walter. Walter doesn't want to move to the States, so right now he's screwed.
Yeah.
Walter has gone on record saying that he does not want to move to the States. That's why he was thrust into the UK championship.
No, but
what?
He said, "Do you blame him?"
Well,
look, I will say
can't
this.
say no.
Watching the little clip that I watched, it was one thing that was great to see was an audience.
Yes,
it was a packed show, and they had their mask on, and but it was great to see people back in. So America,
they were all sex dolls.
They were what?
Sex dolls.
Well,
by the way, thank you to King Lucky for donating those.
Well, I want to say, hey, thank you much, Sin City Steve, for that. That was a lot of good information you gave and got us up to date. So we'll see where this goes from here with Evil. We will jump right over to UFC 251 Fight Island. King Lucky, Simon Street. I know you guys both watched this. King Lucky, tell me, was this what it was supposed to be about?
Yeah, so let's start off. I just want to, before we go to the main card, really quickly, just get to know the name Jiri. He in the prelims, he was the finale in the prelims, devastating knockout, and he's a new addition to the 205 light heavyweight division. So be on the lookout for him. The main card, however, started off with Amanda Ribas and Paige Van Zandt. Paige Van Zandt was coming back from injury, had been out for a while. Unfortunately, it didn't matter. She got tapped out, which Ribas looks like she's going to be a pretty big star in the near future. She has all the tools. She's a great grappler, and she's got the personality too. So I think she's going to do well in the UFC. Going on, you had Jessica Andrade versus Rose Namajunas, which their last fight was incredible. Rose was winning the fight and then got slammed on her head and got knocked out. So this fight coming back, Rose basically retooled everything, came out striking, looking really good, and put it on her. And it was a good fight. That was the division. Next up, bantamweight division, Peter Yan versus Jose Aldo.
Wow.
That fight, I'll tell you what, Aldo started off looking really good. really good, impressive. But what he did was he abandoned what made him so good during his early years, which was leg kicks. He would punish people, cripple them with leg kicks. And he was doing well, started off well with them, and then slowed down for whatever reason. And the end of the fight, he was just getting the shit beat out of him. I mean, he was mounted, and the guy was playing his runs on his head. Peter
like
Yan,
5 minutes, right?
Yeah, Peter Yan just made him look really bad. So Peter Yan crowned the new bantamweight champion. Well deserved. I mean, Jose Aldo's no slouch. And then the next fight, which was the robbery. Robbery.
Glad you said that.
The robbery. So this was a rematch as well, too. Alexander Volkanovski versus my boy Max Bless Holloway. The first fight, Max just looked like he was tired, and he had been a long-standing champion for a long time, but he got beat. And so he came back, retooled, and he was looking great. And the fight went to decision, 5 rounds. But Max, I thought, controlled the first 3 rounds.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Alexander kind of, so Alexander looked dead in the water. But then the last 2 rounds came back and, started to put it on. But everybody, the general consensus thinks that it was a robbery.
Wow.
Max should have gotten the W.
Now let me ask you this question. Did you see when that fight happened? I think it was either the second round or the third round where Max Holloway had did a I think it was just regular high kick, right leg to the back of his head. Did you see his top of his right foot swell up like I did? I felt like that played a little bit in the part eventually to him slowing down in the 4th.
Yeah.
Is that something you saw as well?
His movement wasn't, his movement's always very good. The way he cuts angles and works combos and stuff like that. So I think they'll probably run that one back. Everybody, even like the writers and, most people consider that fight to be for Max Holloway. So he got robbed.
Wow.
Yeah. And then in the main event, you had my boy Jorge Masvidal stepping in on 6 days' notice.
6 day notice.
6 days notice, coming out with Scarface, "The World Is Yours" as his theme song, which was great. But Kamaru Usman showed why he's the champion. I'd really like to see this fight again.
Boo.
I'd really like to see this fight again with Jorge Masvidal on a full training camp.
Yeah.
Because I think it'll be a little bit more competitive. He went out there and just was guns blazing from like the opening bell and threw everything into every shot. But the reason why Simon Street didn't like Kamaru Usman, Kamaru Usman had the complete game plan. He used foot stomps, shoulder pops, wrestling. Everything he did was exceptional.
It was legal.
It was legal.
It was legal.
It was good. So, I mean, Usman did what he had to do. Masvidal was a game, like his name, game break. He was a game opponent, but Usman got the W. So it was a hell of a show. And as I mentioned earlier, you got Fight Island coming up again this Wednesday, baby. So the hits just keep on rolling.
Now, let me ask you this question. Everybody watched SmackDown, even though it sucked total Raw, right? Yeah. Did y'all notice they gave away the Usman fight on Friday Night SmackDown, FS1 at the bottom? Because technically it happened. I got it taped and didn't realize it until because I rewatched SmackDown this morning just because I wanted to see a couple things.
Yeah.
They showed it on the bottom. So if anybody taped it, how FS1 on SmackDown shows the bracket at the bottom. They showed Usman winning. And I was thinking to myself, like, I taped this on Friday. Now, technically, if you look at the time zone where they're at, it made sense. They said, whatever, instant news, whatever it's called. They showed that.
It's 16 hours difference. So
that
would be.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what? I'll tell you what.
It's crazy.
The UFC left Fox for ESPN, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did pull that. So, but yeah, overall, the UFC Fight Island, they've got a couple more cards on the island. So this Wednesday, Saturday, we just got a bunch of fights coming up, and it's going to be exciting.
I have read that this Wednesday was going to be tough for ratings, period, because outside of what you just said with UFC, apparently NASCAR is doing something big on that day too.
NXT, AEW, and it's pretty big day.
Yeah, it's going to be a big day for ratings.
You just put NASCAR in with all that.
Hey,
there's a certain market.
Look, I'm gonna tell you right now, where I'm from in Louisiana and all the southern states, NASCAR is BIG. I'm gonna be real with you. I grew up with my grandfather watching NASCAR.
No matter how you want to slice it, they will have a cut of those ratings.
Yep.
Make some damn left turns, boys.
There you go. Hey, but I will say about the what I noticed with UFC and why I'm excited, and I don't watch it as regularly as King Lucky does. You know, I'll catch it whenever I can. I liked that from start to finish, from what I saw, everything looked well, like a well fine-tuned, oiled machine. They continue some things that they've always done with the regular shows, having the Twitter feeds pop up. I thought that was good that they continued that. And I got to be honest with you, by the time Wednesday comes, we're going to start seeing some real numbers for UFC. There's a bright future for them. I mean, they already got a future, but there's a bright future. And I see a lot of people who may not want to watch wrestling that much and may want to watch UFC. I'm going to be real with you because there's something to offer.
All right. Well, there we go, fellas. We have completed our wrestling talk. It was entertaining.
We didn't talk about Peyton Royce going to AEW. That's
Jesus.
Well, I tell you what. Let's get our final thoughts together so we can, give our shout outs and everything, and then we will end the show. So let's start off with you, King Lucky. Final thoughts for the show, man.
Thank you guys for listening. We just ask that you listen, subscribe, and review. That's it. Thank you very much. Appreciate all of you.
No doubt. Let me go to you, UFC bandwagon fan. I mean, Simon Street.
I didn't say that.
Someone else put it down there for you.
Yeah, reading.
Of course. Hey, you know what? I should have known because I didn't get mute this whole fucking show. So something was coming.
Yeah, man. What's your final thoughts, man? What you got?
I was waiting to see if I got muted. That's what I was waiting for.
Wow.
No. But anywho, everybody, like I said. I knew it was coming.
That's awesome.
Oh man, awesome sauce. Everybody, there's a lot of things that still going on in the world, uncertainty, but let's also look at the bright spots that we do have. And as we talk about on this show, we talk about our love, our passion of wrestling and combat sports and other things in between. Take the opportunity to do that. You could have a better day just by looking at what you do have. It may not be what you had 6 months ago or whatever, but if you look at the small things, you'd be surprised how great off you are than what you could be.
All right. Thanks for that, man. Sin City Steve, man. Go ahead.
I'd just like to give thanks to everybody who's watching the show, listening to the show, liking, sharing, subscribing, hanging out with us in the chats on Facebook and in YouTube. So we definitely love hanging out in there with you guys, talking to you guys, reading your messages on the show. So please, we typically do these shows on Sunday nights, starting at 8 p.m. Pacific time. So, jump on, just go to our fan page right there. Not our only fan page. We don't have one of those. Trust me, you don't want us to have one of those. But no, seriously, jump on to Facebook Sunday night, starting at 8 o'clock Pacific time, and join in the conversation with us. And as always, like to give a shout out to our sponsor, Rep Sports. So they've got everything for your pre-workout, your weight loss, your energy drinks, all that kind of fun stuff. They got fucking protein popcorn. So just go to repsports.com, REPP sports.com, go shopping, have fun. And above all else, use the coupon code Vegas at checkout and you'll get 15% off. So repsports.com, coupon code Vegas. And we'll definitely talk to you guys soon.
Awesome. Matt Michaels.
Good night.
All right, you all. Again, thank you all for listening. Remember, you can be a part of the conversation. Hashtag Vegas Bad Boys. That's what is Z of podcasting. All of our social medias, just keep it unlocked, and we will see you when we see you next week.